Thank you very much for having me, and thank you to the good folks at AirRock for allowing me to present today about the top hidden costs that surround runoff legacy systems. I think it's important to understand how I got here in order to show what type of expertise or understanding I might have when it comes to figuring out how to deal with these systems that are in many ways outdated, outmoded, and difficult to deal with. I'm Dave McAndrews from P1. I am the National Sales Director for P1 Runoff. We are the only data management platform that was built and born in Runoff, and we're proud of that title because of the fact that it gives us the ability to really understand what you guys are dealing with when it comes to legacy runoff systems. And I want to tell you that I have a PhD from maybe the only place that is more completely outmoded and dysfunctional than some of your very own legacy systems. You see, I know that many of you are dealing with systems that are held together with duct tape and baling wire. And I appreciate what you guys go through on a daily basis in order to make things work, in order to get the data and the information that you need on a regular basis and get it to the people who need it so that they can make actionable decisions. It's a difficult thing. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys is a process that I went through that really helped me to put all of this into perspective. What you see here is my very own poster family. Those are my 2 sons and 3 daughters, Ednair, Edwin, Tamara, Kinsey, and Kate. About 5.5 years ago, my wife and I decided to adopt 2 twin boys from Haiti, and we began down that path. And what I would learn is that bureaucracies, both foreign and domestic, and international courts and everything else can put such an amazing level of complexity and yet work with such amazing levels of inefficiency so as to absolutely boggle the mind. You see, we spent 4.5 years trying to get those 3 children home. And that was one of the most difficult processes imaginable. I'll give you a quick excerpt from that process. When we were in Haiti on our first visitation to meet the kids, we went to IBESR, which is the Haitian Adoption Authority. And we went into their offices, and while we were at the offices, we actually had an opportunity to go back into one of the back offices where supposedly the work actually gets done. And that office was a tight, we'd probably call it a wide hallway that had about 8 desks in it, 4 on each side. And you could just about swivel your hips to get in between the rows of desks. And on those desks were computers. So 8 desks, 8 computers, but only one of those computers was actually on. And the computer that was on was playing video pinball. So we could see what we were really up against in that moment and the difficulty that would come in this process. And on top of just the complete ineptitude of the particular office, Haiti was going through the process of becoming Hague compliant, which is a good thing. They are trying to adapt to the international standards for adoption. But our problem was we were stuck smack in the middle of our old process when they decided to invent an entirely new process, a process that they were just going to stumble along and figure out as they went on. Now, this may seem unrelated to the insurance industry, but I can promise you, after taking a look at many different legacy runoff systems, that it's not that different. Many of you are dealing with changes and upheavals within your organization and trying to get old equipment and old systems to cooperate and operate within a completely different paradigm than it was designed. Now, I can tell you that our story does have a happy ending. Or at least so far, we brought the three little guys here home almost exactly a year ago, after 4 years of really struggling with that process. And the good news for you guys who are dealing with legacy data management systems is the fact that there are things that you can do in order to modernize and in order to shortcut some of the issues that are incumbent on having a legacy data management system. And that's what we're going to go into today, is exactly how, what you may be able to do in order to improve the function of your current system and maybe some system options that you can look at in the future. Though it's tough to compare with the inefficiency of Haitian bureaucracy, legacy insurance data management has some pretty significant inefficiencies in its own right. And because of some of those inefficiencies, it is really difficult to nail down the true cost of operating legacy data management systems. Typically, it's a fairly simple equation. X number of dollars per month for the payment to such and such a system, Y is the maintenance cost for that legacy system, and then Z, which is your server or mainframe cost. But that is really just the tip of the iceberg of what the true costs for maintaining a legacy system really are. In fact, the costs that exist out past the system cost, the maintenance cost, and the actual equipment cost can be some very significant pieces of information that you need to know about. Let's start with the creation of Frankenstein's monster. The way that systems get put together with duct tape and baling wire in order to adapt to the business needs that you have to respond to. Because these systems are put together in such a way, it makes it so that you lose one of the biggest potential competitive advantages, the ability to leverage all of your data. We talk about this concept of big data a lot within the industry. But the reality is that most companies cannot leverage big data. And what is the real reason for that? The most obvious reason is, of course, the fact that the information that is needed to be leveraged is spread across multiple systems that are incapable of communicating with each other without some sort of bridge being built. And then that bridge has to be maintained. The way it happens is someone from the organization says, we need to work around this system. And IT wants to do their job. They want to do what is needed. They want to be able to bring the information to the users. So they Frankenstein a workaround procedure in order to make up for the system inequity. Unfortunately, when that happens, the net result tends to remain the same: an inability to harness the power of big data across the width and depth of all of the systems. You create one bridge, and it just really highlights the need for many additional bridges to be built. But IT does not have the bandwidth in order to build them all in-house. After all, we're talking about a lot of systems: policy, claims, ceded reinsurance, document management systems, cash management systems. And each of these systems were probably built in slightly different eras with slightly different business needs. And because of that, it makes it extraordinarily difficult for the IT professional to do the job that they want to do, to get the information to the business user. So the question becomes, do you want to plug the leak or do you want to fix the hole? And the only way to fix the hole is to look at a holistic approach to fixing the entire system or ecosystem that surrounds the data and the information in the data management.